everyone, welcome back. My name is Jumbo Fluff, and today I am doing some more drawing. Today I'm drawing in my sketchbook. I'm working on my newest OC. Her name is Olympia. If you saw my last video, I was working on some Gorgon girl designs. So in this video, I'm kind of refining my vision of what my character is going to look like and giving her some personality and backstory. So to begin with, I started off just drawing, basic head shape here. So you'll see that I sketch with this nice pink color. I like using this lead. It's just a regular pencil. It's like a cheap mechanical pencil, but I use this uni lead, which is a nice pink color. And I like sketching with it a lot because I think the pink color is cute when I just have sketches on the page. But I also really like the way that it works under other colors. Like in this page, I'll be using a mix of other materials like alcohol markers and acrylic markers and some colored pencils and stuff. So I find that the pink color works really well under other colors. It's kind of neutral enough, but also it's like a bright, warm color too. So even if it does peek through, I don't mind it. I think it looks really nice. So to begin with, I just started drawing out this girl. I think that this little headshot of her turned out really cute. I like her face a lot. And I drew out the snakes on her hair. It's kind of hard to draw snakes over and over and make them look interesting and different at all. So I took a lot of inspiration from a particular kind of snake that I saw on the internet. And this snake was, it's a Indonesian pit viper. I think it has another name that it goes by too. I think like Insularis maybe. And some people keep them as pets, but they are venomous. So I kind of like that because it's like maybe she can be friendly or she can be dangerous kind of vibe. So I like that a lot. So as I was working on this character and I'm like thinking of her backstory and everything, she's the leader of my monster girl gang group. I don't know what exactly I want to call them yet. But they're a bunch of performers. I'm not sure if it's like burlesque or circus or whatever. I'm still working on the idea here. But anyway, she's the leader. So she is confident, more bold than some others. And I like the idea of using Medusa as kind of a jumping off point because Medusa is associated with like guardianship and protection. I don't know if you know the story of Medusa or not. Like, it's a really interesting story. I think Greek mythology is really fun to learn about. But Medusa basically wasn't born a monster, but she got turned into a monster by the goddess Athena after Poseidon raped her in the temple of Athena. So for some reason, Athena punished Medusa by turning her into a monster. Medusa also has two sisters that were both already monsters. And the three sisters together are called Gorgons. And Gorgons in Greek doesn't have like a really specific meaning of like what kind of monster it is. It just kind of means like grim. But her other two sisters were considered monsters already, but then Medusa was just a regular mortal. And then she got turned into a monster by Athena. And all three of them have the parents that are gods of the sea, or I'm not really sure, deities of the sea. I think their names are pronounced Phorcys and Ceto, but I could definitely be wrong about that. I'm not expert at pronunciation. But anyway, so the thing about Medusa was that she could turn people to stone if they looked at her. So somebody sent the hero Perseus to slay Medusa, and he ended up killing her using a reflective shield. so that she turned herself into stone. And after she died, he cut off her head. And then her head became a symbol for protection because it was something that Athena took and put on her armor and her shield and things. So the vision of Medusa was supposed to protect because it would turn people to stone, I guess. Which is kind of like a really messed up story. Like, Medusa's story is really tragic, but it's really interesting, and it's kind of become its like really symbolic of like feminine power and rage in more modern interpretations of mythology. So I always think that she's just a really cool, interesting figure in Greek mythology, and I really like drawing iterations of Medusa or Gorgons. So I was pretty excited to work on this character the other day, and then I was really excited after that video was over to kind of keep working on it and refining and deciding how I wanted her to look and what I wanted her personality to be. So I definitely used the mythology of Medusa as a jumping off point for my character. And I also combined that with the kind of colors and themes of that pit viper snake that I was talking about too. So that's how my character here ended up with bright blue snakes for hair, because those snakes have like this really pretty coloration. I think a lot of them are green, but a lot of them are also like this really bright turquoisey blue. And I also really liked about the snakes is that a lot of them have kind of like this corally red color on the base of their tails. It doesn't really run up their bellies the whole way like I've drawn it here, but I like the incorporation of the color. I think that overall it gives my character Olympia a really tropical feeling because she ends up with like this bright blue and coral and bright green flecks in the colors of the snakes. I also went through and tried to add on a lot of texture to the skin of the snakes. Luckily, drawing snake scales is pretty simple. Like, they don't really have like super separated scales like a fish or something. They mostly have like diamond shaped crosses across their body that bend and move with their skin as they're going. So I think that it was nice to add the texture that's kind of subtle but also brings a little more details into the hair or snakes, whichever you want to call it. I also try to give her like instead of like circular pupils, I gave her like slit pupils, which I think kind of has a snake vibe as well. I also envisioned her having like a forked tongue, but I don't think I actually drew her tongue in any of these illustrations. So that would be another thing that would be fun to do, is to give her some more expressions. So I moved on to the second drawing. I didn't show the sketching process for this one. Let me know what you think about my sketching process, if you like seeing it or if you'd rather skip to the colors, because I was a little bit worried with this pink color that I sketch with that it might not be super visible on the film just because it doesn't have a super high contrast with the white color of my sketchbook. But let me know if you'd rather me include it or not. I'm not sure what I want to do. So yeah, I just skipped ahead to where I've already got her body drawn out and I went ahead and lined it. I like to use colored pencils for lining because I'm like afraid of fine liners. I feel like every time I use a marker to line, it comes out super dark and I'm too heavy-handed and I'm never satisfied. So I like the look that you get with colored pencils where it's a little bit softer and it's not so harsh. And if I make a mistake, I don't feel like it draws as much attention to it as if I used a pure black fine liner. Yeah, so for her face, I tried to mix in 2 different tones of brown. So I think it's like, I'm using Ohuhu markers and a few Cali Art markers. So I think it's like a potato brown and burnt sienna, and I just kind of blend the lighter brown into the darker brown where the shadows would be. I also used some more pastel colors and some more bright tropical colors in her hair snakes. I'm not sure if you should call that hair or snakes, so I'm probably gonna use that interchangeably. Sorry. Yeah, so I think that it turned out pretty cute. I really liked the way the snakes looked, and I liked adding in blotches of the green. I think that it came out kind of subtle, but it's really fun to see like the pops of color as well. For her outfit, I wanted to play with more blue colors, but I think that maybe a little bit darker tones and a little more green tones as well, just kind of making her little coat shirt here into like the ocean kind of vibes. And I think that it's kind of fitting that my character, who's inspired by Medusa, my Olympia, she is almost a little bit ocean or tropical themed as well, because like in original mythology, Medusa's parents are both sea deities, so maybe it makes sense that my character also has some sea inspiration. So, I don't know. For her outfit, I wanted to go with like a cute coat dress. So this would be more like her everyday wear, not her like performance wear when she's working with her monster girl group. Again, I needed to figure out a name for that. Something a little more snappy and not quite so mouthfully, but we'll see. So anyway, I gave her like this nice coat dress that flares out at her hips, and then I gave her some skinny pants and some boots. And then for the clothes underneath with the both, I think she has a turtleneck on, and then she has like these tight pants. I'm not sure if they're tights or jeans or what, but I just colored them all the same cool gray color. I just kind of tried to blend it in so that there was some highlights on her legs, but I think that the legs came out nice. The boots, I think, came out kind of stubby looking. Like I think I needed her her feet to extend a little bit further for a better balance of her character, but that's okay. I feel like this character that I was drawing here is probably one of the worst ones on the page, just because I think that I was a little bit nervous drawing from my camera here. So I think that I had like a kind of a weird angle. So she ended up like with longer proportions than I would normally try to make. Usually I like my characters to be kind of short, and I don't know. Her torso ended up really long. So I don't know. Anyway, if I did it again, I think she would turn out a little bit different, but I still like her. I like her the way that the colors came out on her coat a lot. Also, I think like her ears are uneven. I don't know. That one is just like, I don't think I warmed up enough before I did that, because I drew the portrait one day and then I came back and drew her standing pose here the next day. And I think that I should have warmed up a little bit more before I jumped into this one, because there's just the kind of little wonky bits that I think could have turned out a little bit nicer, but that's okay. You gotta draw bad sometimes. But I honestly, I don't think like she's bad. She just like could be better. So yeah, that is this illustration pretty much finished. I'm just coloring in a few more details and finishing up. Alright, so then I moved on to another drawing of Olympia, and for this one I really wanted to draw her with an angry expression. I thought that would be a fun challenge, just because drawing expressions is always fun to me. I've still got a lot to learn, so it's not always easy to make your character still look like your character when they have like a angry face or something. But I think that Olympia came out really nice. I like how the snakes in her hair, instead of being like flat down, they like rose up and turned into like a ready to strike fighting pose type thing. I also drew some of them with their fangs out. I think the snake fangs look really interesting because they like kind of just like pop through their gums. It's really weird. So I liked looking at the references and trying to draw the snakes based on that. Sometimes I think I got a little bit lazy with the snakes just because there's so many of them. I'm not used to drawing snakes. I mean, like, I've drawn snakes once in a while, but for this character, you gotta draw, like, a lot of snakes. So it was fun drawing their anatomy, kind of figuring out how they would be posed in different expressions. Like, if a snake's angry, this is how it stands. If a snake is happy, this is how it stands, you know. I guess not stands, but you know what I mean. Doing snake stuff, slithering and squirming around on the ground. What do you guys think of snakes? I know a lot of people think snakes are scary, but I think snakes are really cool. I don't know that I'd want a pet snake just because I think that they probably take a lot of effort to take care of because I think they have to be pretty finicky about their environment. But I think that they are pretty cool to look at, and I like watching videos of snakes. So anyway, for Olympia's skin on this character, I thought that it would be interesting to add these gray patches because I thought maybe this is when she can turn people into stone, is when she gets angry. I didn't want Olympia to turn people into stone anytime she looked at them because I think from a storytelling point of view, that would be really difficult to have a character who like can't look at anyone or else they like, you know, turn statues. That would be kind of hard. So I thought for storytelling purposes, she can turn people to stone, but she has to want to do it. She has to be really angry and work up to it. And I think that a physical indicator that she's about to do it would be nice too. So that's why I thought it would be good if she had these patches of stone on her own skin that indicate that she's about to start turning people to stone. And I think that's one of the things that can make Olympia a really great protector for her girls, is that she's really kind of overpowered, you know, because she can just like be making people turn to stone whenever she gets angry. So if she wants to protect someone from anyone else, she's kind of got like a power that can't be beat, you know? So that was kind of something that I thought would be interesting as well, because I really want her to be like a protector character, a guardian, and just really take care of her friends and family that she loves. So one other thing that I really like about this snake breed, some snakes actually have live birth, and some scientists think that snakes might actually be like pretty good mothers because they will work really hard to protect their brood when they're little babies. So this Indonesian pit viper that I looked into, it does have live birth as well. So I thought that was really interesting. On this second page of my sketches, I went in with my acrylic paint markers instead of my alcohol markers. I think that the skin color was really hard to get right with the markers, with the paint markers. It's a lot easier with alcohol markers where you can do a lot of blending and making sure that the colors flow seamlessly one into the other. But with the the acrylic markers, it's kind of hard to get like an even coverage and to get a nice color that has a little bit of warmth and liveliness to it without being like a solid different color, because they don't blend super well. But I think that her skin came out okay, and I did go over some parts of it with colored pencils later to kind of more integrate the colors that I was envisioning more so. So this look is more of a showgirl look for Olympia, maybe something that she performs in, or maybe when she's kind of emceeing and teaching, like introducing the other girls in the show. This is kind of what she comes out in. So I thought it would be nice to put her in some like soft baby blues and some turquoise. aqua colors. So I really like the way that this one came out. Although, like I said, her skin's not my favorite just because I think that it does look a little bit patchy. But otherwise, I think that this little sketch of her came out really cute. It was fun to come in with the colored pencils and really put in a lot of details in her skirt and her ruffles. And I also put in some lines of her corset for some seaming and stuff. So I thought that that looked nice as well. I also added some gloves and some high heels. Overall, I think that this one is pretty cute. But I think that her hair kind of did turn out a little bit darker than in the previous iterations. I think that I like the lighter blue hair a little bit better. I also went through and added some shadows and more contrast in some places where parts of her body overlap. So I think one of the inspirations for this character too was in Baldur's Gate 3 there's a character named Kaga who's a druid that really relates to snakes, and she's kind of an antagonist, but she's kind of interesting too, where she has this scene and she talks about how snake mothers protect their brood and how it might seem evil to one person, but to another it's actually love and kindness. So I thought that was a really interesting perspective to kind of take into this character, who is, not an antagonist. She's going to be like the hero of the story if this was ever like an actual story. This illustration that I'm working on now is her in more performance wear. I think that Olympia is probably a dancer because snakes are kind of graceful and they have these long, slinky movements and things. So I really wanted to design more of like a dancer's outfit for her here. So I went with this bright green color, which kind of takes off after the green patches of the snakes in her hair. I also gave her a nice little crown thing. I don't know exactly what it is. But it kind of reminds me of like a cobra's hood, or, like a snake that has a hood like that, where it's kind of like showing off almost. So I like that as well. I like this pose a lot because it pushed her stomach forward a lot, like she's bending backwards a little. I think drawing dancing poses is really fun. It's one of my favorite things to draw. And I also worked in my gold paint pen to give this sketch a little more shine to it. So I think this is the last sketch that I filmed, but I went in and filled up my sketchbook with a few more little doodles and stuff too. So you'll see all of that in the final rolling footage of it. I hope that you enjoyed learning about my new character, Olympia. I hope that you like her design, and I hope that you want to see more of her in the future because I really like drawing her. Let me know if you enjoyed this video, if you'd like to see some more of my monster girls as I'm designing them. I'm really excited to draw a bunch of these ladies. I think that they would make really fun pinups. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!